It's your boy Young Love, Ajawin that time. Pancho leg stand and punchy America. Banyi doll, banaban. Pancho leg stand and punchy America. Banyi doll, banaban. Walk on your leg, kankaro watana watching. Oga leg, gear, pow, right leg. Panda with ya, punchy America. Banyi doll, bano. Chingatonga pandon, could you ever buy a check? Papu panda gear, what ya be doll venting. Stand and punchy America, Banyi doll, Banaban, Pancho leg stand and punchy America, Banyi doll, Banaban, walk on your leg, Kankaro, what on a watching, Oga leg, gear, pow, right leg, Panda with ya, punchy America, Banyi doll, Bano, Chingatonga, Pandon, Kujera by a check.
Welcome to Lake State Media. Today, tonight, this afternoon, wherever you are tuning in, it's a very special day. We have a guest, and it will be my honor to welcome the ambassador, Emmanuel Ajawin.
Greeting, guys. Greeting, Isaac. Greeting, Medit. Long time, and Bulmakur. Nice seeing you guys.
It's our pleasure. Welcome to Lake State Media. While we just waiting for our audience to join us up, we'll be playing some music about the Salam.
Okay. Why don't you give me just a couple of minutes? I will come back. Just a couple of minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's
all right. It's okay.
Okay.
Sharing, guys, get the
Abuba salamnya, Batakore salamnya, Mama salamnya. Salam take, Bulbakir salam take, yang majar salam take. Salam take, Manika salam take. Salam take, Tapan Penga salam take. Bulbakir mada salam, ya Rabbi salam. Onin bida kaman bida mutta, Batorona jil. Salam ya, Yunme, Betalau, Betalau, Abuba, salam ya, Batakore, salam ya, Mama, salam ya. Salam take, Manikonga, salam take, Jadala, salam take, Abujino, Pulung, salam take, Emmanuel Adi, salam take, Tumbulu, salam Tumbulu, salam Epirekulu, salam Bakir mada salam, ya Rabbi salam. Onin bida kaman bida mutta, Batorona jil. Salam ya, Yunme, Betalau, Kichirgin, Betalau, Abuba, salam ya, Matakore jalamnya, mama salamnya, salam taki wal menyang salam taki, salam taki wal menyang salam taki, salam taki ay jang mamur salam taki, salam taki ay jang mamur salam taki. Al fakir mada salam, ya lutu salam. Onin bida tamam bida mutta, otoro nage. Salamnya, yulume betalau, kejerje betalau. Abuba salamnya, Matakore salamnya, mama salamnya.
Share the video, guys. Wow. Thank you so much. Welcome to Lake State Media. We have a guest coming up tonight, Mr. Ambassador Emmanuel Ajawin, leader of the NDM Slide Forward PF. Will be with us shortly. While we're waiting for him to come back, we still will be playing some songs.
أن يكون بنفس القدر أن يكون بمكانه التراث وهذه المملكة العربية.
Start share the video, guys. Start sharing. We will start the job very soon.
That's right. That's true, guys. We need to share the video. Share the video. Let it just reach out. We have a guest of honor tonight, today, this afternoon, evening, wherever you are tuning in. Mr. Ambassador Emmanuel Ajawin, leader of the NDM, Life Forward PF, will be with us shortly. Please join us and share the video to your circle. please do that.
Great. Thank you, dude, for sharing. Charles is back. I will let you know how to use the background. So I will call you, and then I will train you how to use that, because it's not a simple thing. It's hard. It's a little bit.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac. We will start the show. I think we have enough people, so people start coming in. So we try. For those of you who are watching, please start sharing the video, and we will start our discussion shortly. Isaac, are you guys ready? Ball Marcool, come back. So we begin our show.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Thank you, Mr. Ambassador Emmanuel, for accepting our invitation to come to Lagos State Media. I would like, on behalf of Lagos State Media team, I would like to welcome you to Lagos State Media. And before we go ahead, my colleague will introduce themselves. Isaac and Ball, please go ahead to introduce yourself, and then let's give our guests a floor to do his introduction. So Isaac, go ahead.
Oh, thank you so much, Abraham, and thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador Emmanuel Ajawin. Welcome to Lagos State Media again. You are not new to us. You've been in this platform before, and I'm happy to see you in our show this morning, this evening, this afternoon, whenever our audience and are viewing this interview. It's morning hours now where I am in Australia. It's already morning. I have to say good morning to you, and God bless you. Thank you. Bol, you have echo. There is an echo in your system. Bol Makur, go ahead.
Okay, Bol is having a network issue, so he froze. Bol, start to refresh your computer, or and then come back. Okay, let's move ahead while Bol fixing his network over there. So I would like, at this time, Ambassador Emmanuel, I would like to put the ground rule housekeeping. For those of you who are watching, please make sure that if you write something or you want to see the no insulting, no any word that we see, we delete it and we block you. So second to it, we are live on Facebook, on timeline, Lagos State Media timeline. We are live on Lagos State page, and also we are live on YouTube. So for those of you who have a YouTube account, you are feel free to watch us on YouTube too. So both are the things that we are live on, and before that, so this show is designed is an interview format. We are not going to pin down the link. Our guests will interact with the Lagos State Media team. We will ask questions. Ambassador Emmanuel will answer them. And then most of the time, we will not be timing Ambassador, because we will give him a time to answer the question that we will ask him. After all, the Lagos State Media team put in their question, and then we will go to the comment page, the site, and see for those of you who are asking Ambassador question, and then we will pull up the question. And Ambassador will read it, and then he answer it. But make sure that not all the questions we can put it up. So for those of you who will say that, oh, Madid didn't pull up my question, why not? Because we will select. We will see this, we will select the question, then we see that this question is very important. So the Ambassador Emmanuel will answer it, and then we will pull it up. So that will be said. So for that, we will not be put it up. Any comment now while the Ambassador is speaking, the only thing we will put up later on is a question. No more commenting. And then for those of you sharing, and thank you for tuning in and watching. For those of you in Africa, good evening. And those for you in Australia, I think it's the morning now, it's 6 a.m. and it's 10 p.m. in UK, and it's 3 p.m. in America, or 2 a.m. in Central Time. So thank you for those of you who are listening. And for that being said, Isaac, I will yield back the floor so you can welcome to our Ambassador Emmanuel to the team, and then he can go ahead.
Thank you so much, Abraham. I appreciate the housekeeping rules you have highlighted to our viewers, and we need to respect the show. Again, welcome to Lagos State Media, Mr. Ambassador Emmanuel Ajawin. Will be my first interaction. I have been watching your shows and seeing you in different social media. I'm happy to have you tonight in Lagos State Media. Straightforward, we would like you to introduce yourself to our audience. Let them know who is Emmanuel Ajawin.
From the outset, let me take this opportunity to thank the Lagos State's media and also for hosting me in this humble show so that we are able to interact with our audience and to be able to share ideas and to update them, I'm sure, on what happened in Rome and other issues that are there within Soma. I'm sure a lot of questions are there to be asked tonight. Also, let me greet your audience who are faithfully watching this interview, and we hope that it's going to be a very constructive and informative discussions between ourselves. I'm not new here in the Lex State Media. I've always come here and interacted with you guys. As to introduction, my name is Emmanuel Ajawin. I'm the leader of the National Democratic Movement, Patriotic Front, and also a member of the SOMA Leadership Council. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador. I'm happy to hear your introduction. To begin with, the first question, it is the meeting, the peace negotiation that was going on a few days ago in Rome between the Soma and the government. That will be the first question to you. What is your position in Soma? And the second question will it. How did the meeting went on? Is there any common ground you have seen in the meeting between the government and Soma? This is the first question. They're having two in it.
Thank you, Isaac, for your questions. They are quite pertinent. Yes, the environment where we conducted the talks was cordial, friendly, and brotherly, and sisterly too, to be politically correct. We have to be careful these days.
Yeah.
So basically, yes, the fact that the two parties decided, that is the government of the Republic of South Sudan and Soma, to sit down on a table so that they could discuss the issues that are important to us as the people of South Sudan, is a clear indication of political goodwill from both sides, that the conflict in our country and the political, economic, and social crisis and ills in our country can only be resolved through a dialogue. Military solutions have never been a solution, or military options are not solution, but rather the political dialogue is what is required so that we could reach an amicable solution, a win-win solution to the people of South Sudan, a win-win solution to the government and Soma. And so the environment was conducive, and we believe that we engage ourselves in a very tough discussion, but that is the nature of peace talks. As to the issues that we have discussed, we did discuss two issues. One was relating to the cessation of hostilities. You recall very well, in February this year, we committed ourselves, that is the government and Soma, to sign the cessation of hostilities to create a conducive environment for political discussions, so that we could create confidence and trust among ourselves, so that the environment is conducive for elimination of the discussion on the various root causes of the conflict. The other issue also was the need to come up with a clear roadmap, which is the declaration of principles, so that the parties could have a meeting of minds regarding how we're going to approach the peace process itself. And also we could agree on the topics and the issues to be discussed, because the declaration of principles does set up the principles for negotiations in the subsequent substantive talks. So these are the two issues that we approached in Rome.
That's great. I appreciate that. And also, Soma is a combination of different groups. there are so many alliances. And now, how did you left out other alliances such as Real SPLM or Pagana Mom, SAP, of Gerald Malongawan, those of Oya Denga Jack, and they are not participating in this second sitting in Rome?
Well, I think this is a very important question, Isaac. And as I said earlier in my introductory remarks, our people, of course, are yearning to know what took place. None of them was left out. But as I said, we have administrative issues with SSUF, and we have a matter of divergence on principles with the real SPLM. The SSUF, as you know, we have suspended them due to certain activities that were contradictory to the comradeship and the spirit and the trust within SOMA. So we have suspended all the activities, and that decision was taken in a meeting of the Leadership Council, where people voted on suspension of SSUF based on the grounds that were there and the reasons that were presented in that meeting. And therefore, they were not left out because there's a disciplinary action against them. So on that basis, that's why they were not able to participate as part of the SOMA, the SOMA team. As to the real SPLM, many of you who have been following the news know that we in SOMA, we adopted a charter last month, and that charter actually forms the basic of the bond between the various members of the alliance. Those of the real SPLM, they refused, led by Pagana Mum, they refused the charter, because when we voted to adopt the charter, which was 5 of us, SSUF was of course suspended. They were not active members when the charter was adopted. Pagana Mum, real SPLM, voted against the adoption of the charter, and the other 4 members voted for the adoption of the charter. So democratically, the charter was adopted with the participation of the real SPLM. Now, we told this clearly to the real SPLM, that if you do not ascribe to charter, then you are not a member, because you know very well any organization that you form, there's a constitution in the organization. And anybody who does not adhere to your constitution is not your member. It is required that in order for you to be a member of a certain organization, you must ascribe to their rules and procedures and to their constitution. So basically, the real SPLM locked itself out of SOMA. And this is just what really took place. We did not leave them out. SSU was suspended. The real SPLM has not yet joined the SOMA under the new charter.
Okay. Second question, going
Isaac.
Yes.
Yeah, before you go to second question, I would like, because I have a few minutes to go to work. So, and you will continue with the show with the ambassador, and Bol Mapur is having issues. Before I leave Isaac and Bol and Emmanuel, I would like to, because 2 days ago I had a show with Sandy John. This same question I asked with our leader, that the question who have party, and this same question I will ask Ambassador Emmanuel. The question like, so as you are a leader of NDM,
yes.
NDM. So I would like, can you tell us who is your deputy and your general secretary? That is the question one. Question number two, which is another question actually. I would like you to brief, like to talk more about what happened in Rome between peace and negotiation between SOMA and the government. We want, South Sudanese want to know more about what happened in that talk. So that is one of the things to explain more, so that people of South Sudanese who are listening to know exactly what happened for that day that you guys set up. So those are the two things I would like you to talk about it. If I leave, so I have only 1 minute. So, and the last question, Isaac and Bol will interact with you and the audience. And again, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you, Medit. Yes, my deputy in the National Democratic Patriotic Front is Fidel Dimo. Our Secretary General is Dr. Pasqualo Akot. So this is NDM. NDM is a political organization that believes in social democracy. We believe that our country could be reconstructed and rebuilt if we apply the political philosophy of social democracy. Social democracy is completely different from socialism or communism in many ways. But again, I will have the platform to explain further our political objectives, and I have done that in many of my videos previously, talking about the objectives of the NDM Patriotic Front. So I will not take time to dwell on this. As to what happened in Soma, let me go back a little bit. You know, Soma was formed back in The Hague, in what became known as the Hague Declaration. And we composed a new alliance out of the spirit that we, the people of South Sudan, especially the opposition, we need to unite our ranks so we are able to resist and bring a change that our people desire in our country. It is from that background and that understanding that Soma was formed. Soma was formed consisting of 6 organizations. So one, you have the NAS that was led by General Thomas. You have the real SPLM led by General Mulong. Pagana Mum. You had the SSUF being led by General Mulong. You have the UDRM-A / by Dr. Gadwij. You have the SSNMC by Dr. Vakindi, and you have the National Democratic Movement led by myself. These are the 6 organizations that constituted the Soma Alliance, and we actually went together in a lot of initiatives that took place, and many of you are witnesses to this. The 6 leaders always signed on behalf of Soma, and we decided to have a collective leadership rather than having a single leader leading the organization, because we have benefited and we have seen how the alliances in South Sudan, when you appoint one leader, the leader tend to run with the organization and start making separate deals. So we say this time is better for us to test or to try something different, something that we think will take care of the political objective, something that will diffuse this craving of Banyism in South Sudanese politics, where everybody wants to be Bany. We said, let us have a collegial kind of leadership where everybody is important as the other colleague, and therefore where we can make decision by consensus, so that we could build together and focus on program and the political objectives of the alliance, rather than dwelling on the individuals who want to take power. This is what we agreed in the Hague Declaration. The other issue, of course, is that we adopted the term of references. So Soma basically was governed by 2 documents. One is the Hague Declaration, bringing us all together, and we had also our term of reference, which we also adopted in Rome as a working document governing the relationship within Soma. Now, with the objective that we wanted to do as a final objective, because these are all temporary arrangements, these were just interim arrangements. You will need to write a charter for the alliance so that you could have a broader document that has spell out clear objectives and the principles upon which the alliance is built on. And that is what we had in terms of drafting the charter. We started drafting the charter way back in March, and it went all the way almost for 7 months, drafting it and consulting, and everybody was involved. All the 6 political organizations took an active role in terms of the drafting of the charter. Now, the SSUF, our brothers in SSUF, where people were drafting, they came up with 3 issues that they felt these must be included, or else they will not be part of Soma. One of them, they were saying that rather than having a leadership council where decisions are made by the leaders, but only one leader. You know, they said the only one leader. The other second issue they raised is the issue of the composition of the constituent members of the alliance. They said, well, it shouldn't be 6. It should only be 3. You know, and they don't want it to be 6 members. And the last thing, of course, is the issue of federalism. SSUF was not happy about federal system in South Sudan. So they continue putting this as obstacles. People just tried many times to talk with General Mulong, you know, and the members of SSUF, but to no avail. So we had to take a decision regarding the way forward, because the charter need to be adopted. We cannot be operating as an opposition and also as a shadow or alternative government or shadow government without a charter. So we decided to put these 3 questions that were raised by SSUF after a very intense consultations for almost 7 months without them budging. So we put it into voting. On the leadership, on the constituent membership of the alliance, where there should be 3 or 6, a vote was taken, because in our term of reference it says that the decisions within the alliance is, if there's no consensus, is by simple majority. So you could see for 7 months we had no consensus, so we had to put it into vote by invoking this article. So a democratic exercise took place. With everybody present, the 6 organizations. The real SPLM, when it came to the question of the composition of the alliance, the real SPLM abstained. They abstained, and Pagan was there. He's the one who voted. He abstained on it. And when and SSUF voted against, so you had 4 for the composition of the membership. That should be 6. So basically, 4 of 6 is simple majority. So we decided that the composition of the alliance will be 6 members. Now, we also came to the issue of leadership. Again, the real SPLM abstained. The SSUF voted against, and then the 4 voted for. So we agreed that, you know, there's no need to have one leader. It's better for us to have the leadership council that we have, and it has been working. We have no problem with it. On issue of federalism, after I think intensive talk, Malong dropped it and he said, okay, I will accept federalism. So basically, based on this, the differences that was in existence were no more, because the democratic process took place and so forth. Now, coming to the issue of the suspension of the SSUF.
Yeah.
You know, our term of reference for SOMA clearly states that if there is any Article 4.9, and let me read Article 4.9 of a term of reference, it states, and I quote, the leadership or opposition movements operating in contradiction with the decision of the the leadership or opposition movements operating in contradiction with the decisions of the Leadership Council and the Declaration of Principles shall lead to sanction by the leadership of the alliance. End of quote. So Article 4.9 of our term of reference states that the leadership or opposition movements operating in contradiction with the decisions of the Leadership Council and the Declaration of Principles shall lead to sanction by the leadership of the alliance. So this is Article 4.9, which is clearly, it tells you that if any of the constituent members of SOMA is behaving in a way that is contradictory to the Declaration of Principles and also to the other term of reference that we have, that party will be sanctioned. So we found out that SSUF was communicating contrary and against decisions that are taken by the Leadership Council of SOMA. And these letters were written to the mediators. By then, the spokesperson of SSUF, it was Sunday Dijon, and also he was writing himself as the director of communication of SOMA. We don't have that kind of position. We only had a liaison officer, which is Dr. Kwaje Lasso. So you could see that those and the letters that were communicated was against the decisions that are taken by the SOMA leadership. So they opened a backdoor channel, that we had the right to send a video as mediators without us knowing. So we will decide on something in leadership in their presence. We will write a letter, and then they will go and write a contrary letter contradicting what we have decided. The other issue is the issue of security. General Mulong confided in me, Emmanuel, in one of our visit to Rome, that there is one person who is called Lual Dao, who resides in the United States. He's saying this guy, we don't trust him because he is working with my wife, my ex-wife, and also he is working with the Corps, with the national security. So you have to be careful about him in terms of giving him any sensitive information. But we were surprised that when Malong started absenting himself for reasons known to him from the meeting of leadership of SOMA, Lual started attending the meetings, him and Dr. Sunday Dijon, on behalf of SSUF, because we have decided before that in any meeting, each and every party will be represented by 2 individuals. Now, we became very concerned because in the leadership council, this is where we decide the political decisions, and the issues of a strategy of the alliance. And for us to have somebody who have been told by his boss that he's a spy is very dangerous for the deliberation. So rather than us taking action, we decided to call for a meeting of leadership consisting only of the leaders of the alliance. General Mulong was in attendance, and we raised the issue that Mulong, you told us before that this guy in question, you said he's Zolde Jasus, Shagal Manazakol Kor and your wife, and now he's attending our meetings on a regular basis. This is very dangerous, for us. And Mulong sarcastically brushed it that, well, there's no problem people talking to Juba. Even me, Mulong, I do talk to Juba. Of course, we didn't know that time that you also call Kir and he talks to Kir, So basically, it becomes an issue of compromise. That was one. Then on the 25th, I think, of September, we called for an urgent extraordinary meeting because the situation was very grave when we got the letters that Mulong was communicating, and also this issue of some secret talks here and there. We called for a meeting, and Lual came again in the meeting, and he said before the meeting started that I have an information from General Mulong. We in SSUF, we have decided to suspend Dr. Sunday Dijon. The reason why we suspended Dr. Sunday Dijon, because Dr. Sunday Dijon is a spy. He's a spy. He works with the Corps. He's sending secrets of the SSUF to our Corps. He have sent a list of 590 military officers to a Corps and Kalam Getir. So we told one now, who is who now for us to trust? Your boss, a couple of months ago, he said, "Jasus, you are the spy, you are the rat, you are the rat, and now you're coming and telling us that Dr. Sunday Dijon, yao Jasus. So utukulukum bitalatu jawasis, and this is not us labeling, it is only you people talking it. Your boss telling us that it was Lual, and now you coming and telling us that now it is Dr. Sunday Dijon is also Jasus. And 2 of you are attending the leadership meetings of SOMA. This is a very serious issue to us. That means all our meetings have been compromised. If you have a national security agent among us, that is a very heavy infiltration. In most countries, when someone is doing this kind of thing, they will fire squad them. A spy was always fire squatted. So this is very dangerous to us. and we decided to take an action by suspending. People voted for the suspension of the SSUF from SOMA and freezing all the activities of it. Again, the real SPLM voted against it, but the rest voted for, of course, the suspension, and we suspended SSUF from all the activities of SOMA. We also wrote a letter to General Mulong regarding this decision that we have taken, regarding the decision of suspension, and narrated the points that I've just isolated to you. We told him A, B, C, D. These are the reasons, of course, of the suspension of SSUF. The General Mulong also wrote back a letter to the Leadership Council urging us to reconsider the decision and so forth. This is what took place, and we believe that, of course, the next step after the suspension is to form an investigation committee to investigate General Mulong and to also investigate Dr. Sunday Dijon, who's now also a chairman of one of the wings of the SSUF, and to ask them whether the letters that Dr. Sunday Dijon wrote at that time when he was the spokesperson, whether these letters was the decision of the SSUF as an organization or not. And then based on the recommendation that will be forwarded by the investigation committee, the SOMA leadership will decide either to leave the suspension of Mulong, or leads to termination of the membership of Mulong from SOMA indefinitely. Now, the real SPLM, which is led by Pagan, yes, they had an issue, and many of you have read that. They were not happy with the decision that was taken, and they were saying there's an issue of procedure, and they don't agree to it. But again, this kind of behavior, Brother Isaac and Bol, is actually insubordination and lack of discipline. Because if you look at Article 4.8 of our term of reference, it states, and I quote, "Every member shall be loyal and committed to the decisions of the leadership and carry out agreed tasks without delay." So every member of SOMA, shall be loyal and committed to the decisions of leadership. Now, when we have decisions made through a democratic process within an alliance, and you go out and cry foul, therefore you are not even adhering to this 4.8 article of term of reference. This is what I call political disturbance within the alliance. The harjala siyasiya, as if you want to say it in Arabic. And this is what happened with the real SPLM. So when we adopted the charter, all of us agreed on the adoption of the charter. The real SPLM voted against the adoption of the charter. And when we came to signing of the charter, the real SPLM told us clearly that without SSUF as part of SOMA, they will not be part of SOMA. So they refused to sign the charter. So we told him that if you refuse to sign the charter, there's nothing any longer governing us, because charter is like our marriage certificates. So if you don't want to be governed by this marriage certificate, there's no marriage between us. You can go your own way. So this is what happened, my dear colleagues and compatriots. So you have an administrative issue. We told real SPLM that allows into you wait for the honeymoon between you and Mulong. So if we finish the investigation and the due process and Mulong is back, as you said, you will come back. So we were surprised that they don't even adhere to decisions. When we went to Rome, Liginom Hinak Gadid Rome, attending they want to attend the meetings. But we told them, of course, the real SPLM, that is the delegation that was led by General Oyai and Chirino Itang, Dr. Chirino Itang, they came to Rome and they asked the mediators that they want to meet SOMA leadership. General Thomas and myself went to meet them, as we were mandated by the rest of our colleagues, that is Dr. Kwaje and also Dr. Thomas Dwab. So we went And they were talking these emotional talks. Yeah, Jama, let us go to meeting as one people, shunu. So we told them, Jama, this is not a job with konyo. You'll be suspended on a ground. So if you've been suspended, that you have been found as issues that have been stated against you, you cannot just come to Rome here and tell us, well, Jama, let's just appear as one. Appear as one based on what? So the suspension of Malong, the due process has not been completed. We told him when we come back from Rome, we'll look into the formation of the committee to investigate you. As to you, the real SPLM, what basis are we sitting here? There's no marriage between us. You not signed the marriage certificate, So if you're interested that you want to sit down as part of SOMA, please, can I am the marriage certificate charter betana. We would love to have you on our honeymoon, But of course, they gave a contrary view, and we told them we cannot be a same team because there's no any common ground for us to work on, because we have a charter that you don't subscribe to it, and our charter spells the political objectives of SOMA. And we cannot just go to a negotiating room with somebody. We don't know what they stand for. You may surprise us by making a deal with Kirza or Juba Hinak. We don't know what you stand for. So this is what happened. They were not part of the opening. The opening was well attended. You had the American special envoy. You had the British special envoy. You had representative from Norway. You had representative from the European Union. You had representative from IGAD, which is my wise. You had the GMEC chairperson or deputy chairperson in South Sudan. These are the guys who had the opening with us, and the government. So you could see where the legitimacy of SOMA lies. It does not lie behind the closed doors where the meetings are held behind Inak Figurfa. And then you said, well, I am Michelle Rome. SOMA. Of course, this is just wishful thinking. So this is, in summary, my dear compatriots and the viewers and my brothers in the studio, this is what really took place within SOMA. So, in a nutshell.
All right, thank you so much, Emmanuel. You have really elaborated it. Even the questions we were following, the first questions, you have already covered them up. I will move to the next questions because now we confirm the real SPLM did not sign the marriage certificate. Let's put it that way. And also the SAF, they're being isolated. And
they're not being isolated. They have been suspended.
Okay, they've been suspended and they split into two in the group. There are two groups now in their camp, but I will not ask for that now. What I'm asking you is your relationship between your party of NDM, PF, and also of Thomas Cirillo, which is NAS. What is the connection between you? Because NAS policies, what the question is coming up after that is that the NAS policy, they don't need non-Equatorian citizens in their land. And now you are joining together. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, my brother Isaac, we have a problem. We don't read political literature. We just assume, this thing that NAS is for Equatoria. I've never seen a document of NAS, and I challenge anybody here to produce a document written by NAS that NAS is for Equatoria. This is completely unsubstantiated and it's nonsensical. The same thing when Garang was rebelling, they used to call it Harakat Garang. This is Dinka movement. But was it Dinka movement? This is always the enemy and the opposition, always the government always try to paint a very bleak picture of the other side. General Thomas, I've worked with him for almost 2 years now. General, he's one of the nationalists that I've come to work with closely, and I trust him. There is no any literature of NAS that NAS is talking about Equatoria. And by the way, NAS has a military force. If General Thomas was for Equatoria, he wouldn't hide it. He will tell it, and nobody can do anything about it. But of course, General Thomas does not believe in this division of our country based on the regions. He's a national leader, but those who are against him are trying to portray him as a regional person, so that he doesn't enjoy. He shouldn't enjoy the wider support from the other part of South Sudan. So it is not true that NAS is an Equatorian movement. That has never been articulated by NAS anywhere. As to the relationship between NDM Patriotic Front, which I lead, and NAS, it is a cordial and brotherly and comradeship struggle between us and relationship. We have been together in the trenches in terms of opposing the dictatorial regime and the ethnic and fascistic regime of Kir Mayadi in Juba. And our relationship is actually cemented and governed by the charter that I'm talking about. Not only Thomas in the NAS, you have also the UDRM under Dr. Gadwich. You have also the SSNMC, under Dr. Vakindi. And the four members of SOMA, the relationship between us is what is defined by our charter. So it is a cordial, a strategic relationship. SOMA was not formed out of tactical appeals, but it was formed out of a strategic necessity for a long-term alliances. You have people from Equatoria, you have people from Barghazal, you have people from Al Nil, and this is what we need. We need an opposition that encompasses everybody. We need an opposition that is truly nationalistic in character and composition. So our relationship with NAS is a very good relationship, is a brotherly or sisterly relationship, whatever you would like to call it. And NAS has never been advocating for independence of Equatoria. I've never heard Thomas talking about it. And I don't think Thomas, such as someone like Thomas with his status and intellectual capabilities, will confine himself to the region of Equatoria. Thomas is a nationalist, and he's one of the leaders of South Sudan. So those who are trying to throw mud on NAS as a regional thing, let them reconsider and let them go and read the literature of NAS. There's nothing like that. They ask for federalism, which we also ascribe to it, and this is in our charter.
All right, and thank you so much, Emmanuel. I don't need to be dominant in the questions here. By my co-host Bol Makur been having issues with the internet, but it's now connected. Bol, I will allow you now to, if you have some question, ask Mr. Ambassador. The floor is yours. Before we go to the audience, I will be selecting some questions that they raise or they ask Ambassador. I will be displaying them shortly.
Thank you. First and foremost, I welcome Emmanuel Ajawin to Lake State Media. And Ambassador, I always respect for our invitation to come to Lake State Media, because there are many members of SOMA, some members of government, some members of other parties that were invited, but they don't see a Facebook platform as come and address the issues of what's going on within South Sudan as you do. And this one, that you let people know what's going on. Some of my questions might be already heard because the network was bad, but I will try my best to also come in with my question. If it's something that was heard in my absence, just discard it, okay, and it will be okay with me. Yeah, I have a follow-up, very little follow-up on what you said about what's going on in the SOMA between and Manamo about their failure to carry certificate. So, signing of the charter, as you put it, and when I read about SOMA yesterday, there is something said that there are members with sabotage within SOMA. Are these members in the high-level authority of SOMA, or these are just youth romance on Facebook.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Bol, you're cutting, but I'm sure I'm trying to make sense of your question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Bol, can you hear us?
No, I don't hear Emmanuel. Network was.
Yeah, can you hear me like this? I can hear you.
We hear you, but there is cutting. But
Yeah,
we joined
there's a lot of whistling. There's a lot of whistling on your side. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's the networking. Yeah.
How is it now?
Yeah, it's better. It's better. Can you ask your question again, because I wasn't hearing it properly?
Okay, there are some members within Soma who sabotage the decision of the authority. And it was written that there are some members within Soma that sabotage the authority. These members, are they there within high level of your authority, or these are just rumors on Facebook?
You know, I don't know about sabotage, but what I know, for example, as I told you earlier, that we have suspended the SSUF activities that is being led by General Paul Mulong, regarding of their contradiction and also indisciplined behavior that they have manifested in writing to Senegidio and doing any other things. That is what the decision we took. As to the real SPLM, as I told you, they refused to sign the charter of the alliance, then knocking themselves out of the alliance. This is the simple reality. So what we have, these so big talks about them being Soma and Shunu, all these are just a storm in a teacup. That does not stop the will by the Soma leadership to address the root causes of the conflict and to be able to sit down with the government to try to address issues that are concerning our country. So as to the sabotage, I don't know who's sabotaging who. What we know is that we have suspended the SSUF, and they're not active members so far of SOMA. They also wrote to us a letter, which means is a recognition of the decision of the Leadership Council. Because if you don't recognize somebody, you don't write a letter back to them asking them for them to reconsider their decision. So the only person that is behaving in a way that is erratic is those who did not abide by the decision that are made by the Leadership Council of SOMA. So these are the people. It is their own business. But as we know, SOMA now is intact. SOMA, as per the charter, it consists of the 4 organizations. As I said earlier, you have the SSNMC, you have NAS, you have the UDRM, and you have the NDM Patriotic Front. These are the members of SOMA now, legally speaking, based on the document. The other member is suspended until we look and into the suspension. Then they will have the option whether we'll allow them in or they'll be out. As to the real SPLM, they're not members of SOMA. They refuse to sign the charter. So legally, there's nothing that binds them with the SOMA that have signed the charter.
Okay. Bol Makur, did you hear that? Do you have anything to add on, or I go ahead?
No, but first of all, I would like to know, because I removed myself from the video, and I will just, do you guys hear me now, right?
No, you sound better. You sound better, Bol. You sound much better.
Okay, good. I close that one out, and I will be conducting the show without image, so I can be here very well. Mr. Emmanuel, thank you for answering that question. Let me ask one question, Isaac, and I will give you the floor. If this question is asked already, then Ambassador, you will discard it, and we can move to next question. This week, SOMA and government of the Republic of South Sudan met to resolve the 7-year-old conflict in the Republic of South Sudan. Before the discussion of the conflict root cause, the first thing should have been the review of cessation of hostilities. This is what two parties recommended last January, but the government was not for the review of the cessation of hostilities, and instead of wanted Soma to recommit to its implementation in order to be urgently integrated into CTS AMVM structures. Why did you agree to this while all along it is in the interest of Soma to first address the root cause of the war?
Well, that is a very important question, Bol. But before you embark on any political discourse to discuss the substantive aspect of, let's say, the root causes of the conflict, it is always incumbent that you need to create a conducive environment for a political dialogue. You cannot talk while you're fighting. That will actually break down the confidence and trust in the mediation itself. So what you do first, you will try to silence the guns so that you have a conducive environment for people to talk. Silencing the guns in this way is, of course, the recommitment of the parties to the cessation of hostilities. We must stop all the military confrontation between us. We must also open up the corridors so that the humanitarian assistance could go to the most needy people who need this urgent humanitarian assistance, because many of our people are displaced in the bushes of South Sudan. So the cessation of hostilities is not an end in itself; it is just one of the means to an end. So you have to first recommit to the cessation of hostilities. It's not only Soma; we are all committing as parties, because the government has been violating the cessation of hostilities. The government is also accusing Soma forces of violation. So to avoid this recrimination of saying who is violating what, let us recommit to the cessation of hostilities. Let us silence the gun. Then let us open the political dialogue. That is why you could see that cessation of hostilities, the document, we have agreed on it. What is left only the signing. We only initial it because we said rightly that the cessation of hostilities cannot be done in isolation. It has to go as a package with the declaration of principles, because the declaration of principles will set the roadmap for the coming political dialogue between us and the government, so that we could address the root causes of the conflict. This is what happened. So in a nutshell, Bull, you will have to have a cessation of hostility first before you engage into substantive political discussions.
Thank you, Ambassador, for a brief answer. So we know that Juba is volatile now, according to the political situation in South Sudan. And always you and the government are negotiating so South Sudan can come to agreement so we can have peace together. Are you addressing the issues of insecurity that will face you when you come to Juba?
No, of course, Bull, we are still at a very early stage of negotiations, by the way, my brother. We have not yet even reached to that extent of talking about the issues of insecurity and security arrangement. What it is now in Rome, as I told you, first is the first step first. You sign the cessation of hostilities, you sign the declaration of principle, then you'll go to substantive discussion, depending on the agenda. But of course, the question of going to Juba, it will have to be linked with the security arrangement that we and the government will arrive to. Nobody will go to Juba without the security arrangement. We believe that there are certain steps in terms of security arrangement that must be fulfilled first before going to Juba. Let me give you an example. We in Soma, we are calling for establishment of a national army and a national security, both in composition and in character. And also for these trained and organized forces to be deployed in the major towns of South Sudan, like in Juba, in Malakal, in Wau, and other towns, Rumbek, and also for Juba to be demilitarized. We don't want any military present in Juba. We want the police to take the security in Juba, and the army naturally, should be out of the towns. and we only want perhaps the commanding or the headquarters, the HQ of our armed forces to be in Juba, like for example the build from an administrative aspect of the army. But we don't need these huge armies in Juba to do what the federal police in Juba can do the work much better, because you're interacting with civilians, and to avoid the occurrence of generals taking land, grabbing land, people being shot, the unknown gunmen and so forth. We want to change the concept of the militarism that exists in South Sudan. We need to change that kind of concept. So basically, our going to Juba is still very early. The negotiation is still at infancy, and we believe when the time for the security arrangement comes, we'll be able to engage with our people here and to inform them what is our roadmap plan in terms of the security arrangement, in terms of us as the alliance or the opposition going back to you. But it's too early for that at this stage.
Thank you, Ambassador. Ambassador Emmanuel, I will take you away from focusing on Soma between you, Malong, and Mr. Pagan. But I want to take you to another wing of what's going on now in our country, because I know you, Ambassador, you have a lot of knowledge of what's going on. After independence, South Sudan witnesses major setback that affect the function of her national currency. What was the genesis of downfall of South Sudan pound?
Well, these are very important questions, Bol. Our country, if many of you could recall, when I was in Juba from 2011 and 2012, $1 was equal to 3 South Sudanese pounds. Can anybody remember this? This is not 70 years ago. This is just recently. Okay, $1 was equal to 3 South Sudanese pounds. The economy was still strong at that time. The oil revenue was flowing and so forth. But of course, what we have now is a disease. Is a disease where most of the African countries, and especially revolutionary movements, do face later on. You can be a good fighter, but it does not necessarily mean you could be a good governor. What happened in our country is very sad. It is very unfortunate. There was a systematic looting of the resources of South Sudan under the watch of the President Kir Mayadi, without any punishment, without any consequences. And if you remember, in 2012, President Kir came out and said that $4 billion of South Sudanese $4 billion have been stolen. Just a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you recall that $4 billion US dollars was embezzled by almost 4 members of the SPLM leadership. $4 billion is a lot of money. You could recall also the billions and millions of dollars that have been stolen in the president's office. You could also recall a lot of things: economical abuse, mismanagement of the country resources, looting, and the most sad aspect of it is that nobody was held accountable by the government. People will still in the president's office. They get locked up for a month or two. They get released, reappointed as ministers or undersecretaries. This is what's happening, rewarding the most corrupt people in the country. Now, the second issue is the lack of the vision, economical vision, by the SPLM leadership. They have no clear vision of how to jumpstart the economy of our country. As we talk today, everything is imported, including fish. Somebody was telling me that some people, they sell fish in dollar in Juba. So I was wondering, how do you sell fish with dollar when you can catch the fish from the river? So you basically have the political elites who have usurped the power in Juba. These guys, they have no vision. They have no economical vision. Dr. John, when he was fighting, Dr. John had a political vision at that time of the SPLM. Dr. John was talking about how we can transform the agricultural sector and how we could actually use our oil revenue to build our agricultural sector so that we could provide food security for the people of South Sudan and people of Sudan in that case. Now, what you have in South Sudan, there's not even a factory, to generate the income that is required. The youth on the street, and Michael Mukwei says that the youth of South Sudan are lazy. Why are they not working? But the question is, where will they work? Where are the jobs? The only jobs now you have in South Sudan are governmental jobs, and we cannot all be employed in the government. Our private sector is in tatters. Our economy is run by foreigners. Our economy is run by foreigners. If you look at the banking industry in South Sudan, you talk about KBC, is Kenyan Commercial Bank, or KCB, Kenya Commercial Bank. You have the Equity Bank, is a Ugandan. And all these banks are foreign banks that are running the economy of our country. If you go to even the commodity market inside Juba, is run by either Somalians. You go to the hotels, is all run by either Ethiopians or Eritreans. Even water business in Juba is run by the Ethiopians. Our government has even failed to provide clean water to the people of South Sudan. So to answer you, all these problems, combined together, of course, will lead to an eventual economical collapse, because there is no any source of revenue in our country. It's only oil. Now the price of oil has fallen, plus the coronavirus pandemic. Everything has come to a standstill. Our civil servants now, many of them, the diplomats, are going almost to 20 months or 18 months without salaries. The army and the teachers are going to 6 or 7 months without salaries. And even if they get their salary, it's only $7 or $10. So there's no really country. South Sudan is a country existing in a geographical fiction, as I always say. But as a country, there's no country. It's just an empty coconut shell. It looks like a country outside, but there's nothing in it. But the irony, it is the people of South Sudan who are suffering day and night, and the government is abrasive. They don't really they don't care about the suffering of our people. So things cannot continue as it is. There must be really a radical change to save our country. Otherwise, South Sudan will totally collapse. And this is the beginning of collapsing of our country. Once the economy is not doing well and there's nothing to save it, the country will automatically collapse. It will disintegrate, unfortunately, under these visionless leaders that you have in Juba. So, in a nutshell, Bull, this dude are the one responsible for the decline and the appreciations of our currency, because of economical mismanagement, corruption, and lack of political vision.
Thank you, Ambassador. You have really elaborated that question very well, because when I read about it, also because I did a little research, some of those factors you said were the one that bring the pound down. Ambassador, for now I will give floor to Isaac, so you can.
Yeah, before you give floor to Isaac, someone asked a question here. He said, okay.
Go ahead.
Ambassador Ajawin, is your party Soma planning to have a position in current government of national unity if signed peace, or you will waiting and organize yourself for upcoming? I mean, first of all, Soma is not a party. The person who's asking the question, Soma is an alliance. Positions are not what we're struggling for. We need to address the root cause of the conflict. And if we do go well, that the government accepts our vision of addressing the root cause of the conflict, and we sign an agreement, then we will decide what kind of role we will have later on in the future. But to us, this is not the time for it. We are not there for positions. We need to address the root causes of the conflict. Our people in South Sudan, people are used to this thing of position. What will I become? I need to be a minister and Sugle V8 and all these kind of things. This to us is immaterial. We believe that what is important for our country is to bring a durable peace in South Sudan, a lasting peace. Peace that is based on justice, peace that is based on equality and respect to human dignity. So we are a generation in Soma that does not believe in positions. We believe in addressing the political causes in our country. Otherwise, if we were interested in positions, many of us would have crawled back to Juba, like other colleagues who are now vice presidents and ministers in Juba and MPs. But we said no, our country cannot be solved we are with the people of South Sudan, and we can only go to Juba when we feel that we have fulfilled, you know, the aspiration of our people.
I think that is Bol Makur is having a background noise. I mute him. Go ahead.
Yes, someone is saying that Soma is anti-Dinka. Soma is not anti-Dinka. That is completely nonsensical. Someone said, dear brother Emmanuel, Soma principles requirements are referendum, border and boundaries from 1956 and during Sudan independence from British. What does Soma means by this? First of all, when we talk about referendum, the referendum is in relation to the constitution making process. We propose in Soma that we need to draft a permanent constitution for our country. South Sudan now has been living under an interim constitution for the last 9 years. That is a long time. So we said in drafting a permanent constitution, there are 3 processes that we need to follow. One is the holding of a constitutional conference where all the stakeholders will come and decide and agree on principles that are required for the drafting of the permanent constitution, the issues that need to be raised in the drafting of the permanent constitution. Plan B is the technical aspect of drafting of the constitution itself. Again, with the participant of those who participated in the constitutional conference. And the last point, which you are alluding to, brother, is the issue, is the issue of referendum. Referendum, we are saying that the constitution is a contract, is a social contract between the government and the people. And therefore, it should be people-oriented, and it should also be people-owned. People of South Sudan should have the last voice of whether to adopt the constitution or not, you know. And if they decide to adopt the constitution, then that becomes the constitution of the Republic of South Sudan. Then in the preamble of the constitution, we will say, we, the people of South Sudan, agreed on the following. So we say that in Soma, that it is the people of South Sudan that should address, that should vote, and should have a final voice on the referendum, on the constitution, where it has to be put into a referendum. Time for the elites thinking that they know what is best for our country is over. It is the people that must decide how to run their own destiny, and this is what the Soma was alluding to in terms of referendum. As to the boundaries of 1956, these are the borders that all of us agree, even including government. Be it revitalized ours is an agreement. That's the borders of South Sudan stands as fast as 1956, be it international or internal boundaries. So there's no any dispute on that issue.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for the answering these questions. I would like to ask you one thing here before I give you my last question. Dr. Emmanuel Sunday de John is asking that he need to make some clarification. Are you ready to bring him?
Bring him in. Bring him in. Let him come. Yes. Okay.
All right. Then no worries. I will send him the link. Ooh, excuse me.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you. Just it's morning hours.
Yeah, Malik. Someone is asking a question. Someone called Ahmed Yai is saying, my question is going direct to Ambassador Emmanuel Ajawin. Why are you allowing armed wings of Soma to attack ambush businesses and so forth? There's no brother Ahmed. There's no evidence that it is us who are attacking these vehicles. I don't think there's anybody within Soma that's attacking businesses on the road. South Sudan is awash with guns, and there are a lot of people that are operating out of the opposition. They're not even part of the opposition. Could be even the soldiers of the government, because they're not being paid their salaries. So insecurity is rampant. Even inside Juba, is it the opposition forces in Juba that go to the people's houses at night and loot them and take their things at a gunpoint? It is not opposition. So I don't know where you come from with these allegations of opposition attacking cars on the bushes. There's no evidence of that. These are just hearsays. Someone was saying, Ambassador Emmanuel Ajawin, why don't you guys having one solid, strong party? Yeah, Brother Justin, we are having an alliance. And I first, in order for us to build confidence and trust, let us see how alliance work. And we believe that maybe in the near future, people could even either form a one party if time permits, or even broaden the alliance and bring other people on so that we could have a clear strategy even in the elections later on in our country if there's peace. So we are saying that at this initial stage, it's very important to start creating trust and build confidence among ourselves as colleagues. So as we go, we mature politically and we develop the trust among ourselves. And if time comes for us to form a one party, we will do that. Of course, it will be organic, based on the trust and the confidence that we have built. Yeah.
Hello. Senator John, welcome.
Hey. Victor, nice seeing you.
Nice seeing you, Emmanuel. Yeah, I'm awake.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Yeah, you requested before that you need to join the show. You need to make some clarifications. We will allow you now to make those clarifications, what you want to clarify here in this show, what we were talking about.
Thank you very much, my brother and colleague Isaac Tiang Paul, and also Ambassador Maulana Emmanuel Ajawin. I was watching the show, and I could see Emmanuel has made a lot of clarifications on the issues that have been asked or raised by the concerned citizen of South Sudan. And there are some that came up in a manner that is reflective of aggression. And I felt like I should get involved and say a point or two. The main ones are that NAS has been championing for anti-Dinka or anti-other communities strategy or campaign in the Republic of South Sudan. And that also, Soma has eliminated General Malong simply because he's a Dinka. And so is also Soma is becoming anti-Dinka. Those things are the ones that made me come in, simply because we are a country. And if we are a country and there is a group with dedication to pursue the cause that it's perceived as the agenda of the entire nation, the elements that would want to misconstrue the things should actually be contained or allowed not to progress with the idea that is divisive. From all the documents of NAS that we have been reading and that have been circulated, including on their website currently, there is nothing anti-Dinka about NAS. And this very NAS has never been anti-Malong, and I can be able to say it categorically in a clear aspect that NAS is only championing for the rights of South Sudanese, and through a chosen political ideology, and that is acceptable in any political arena. Look here, as earlier as 2018, coming to 2019, SAF that was headed by General Malong has been in contact with the NAS of General Thomas Cirillo. And here are the proofs. We signed, even before SOMA could be established, a memorandum of understanding, which was later on renamed as the Declaration of Principle. The signatories of that document are Comrade Lado, in accompaniment of Comrade Yen Matthew, and Comrade Louis Anay Madut Kwendit, in accompaniment of myself. We started with a Nairobi meeting, and we moved to Addis Ababa and had another meeting with General Thomas Cirillo. That one granted the working relationship between NAS and SAP. And this was later on augmented by my personal move down to the bushes of South Sudan, but first by meeting with Comrade Yen Matthew and the commanders that are in the field, I don't need to mention their names, to work together. And I place a force together with that one of NAS. And they have never clashed in any way. Instead, they have pursued one cause. Even General Malong understands the principle of NAS. That is why he had to make efforts through us. And we also had to make efforts to help work together with NAS. And we have been working cordially. No any question of tribalism under that aspect. And anybody who is trying to make tribalism as a point of talk in this show is only trying to be relevant, but that is not the question that we are talking about. So from today onward, I am a Dinka and I love my identity. And just like your identity as a member of the other community, don't use identity as a point of denigration. Let us always put it as a point of strength, because I have mentioned many times that if all the cattle or the cows in the cattle camp were to be white, we will not appreciate their value. Some are black, others are yellow, and others are brown, whatever color you have in the cattle camp. So that is the diversity of South Sudanese. And General Thomas Cirillo, having come from Equatoria, does not mean he's championing for the rights of Equatorian. Otherwise, the replica of the same would be construed too. If you are talking on behalf of anybody, including on behalf of Kir, then you are lying, because Kir, as a leader, is not supposed to be leader of Dinka. And he's not being a force because he's a Dinka. He's being a force because he has bad policies that are not benefiting all South Sudanese, including Dinka, that he comes from. This is what should be pursued. And therefore, I would want to dismiss that one for that point. Coming to the point of Soma remaining as a Dinka entity or this, I would also say that if you know your identity is from a different ethnic group, it doesn't give you a liberty or kind of leeway to contraband the laws that have been laid down. If you have committed any crime, you did not commit it on behalf of the tribe. And for your information, the sub that we were in was not a Dinka entity. So that if it is excluded from Soma, it doesn't mean Dinka has been excluded. Simply because we have other people. We were having very good colleagues from Equatoria, the likes of Edward Mboriman, the likes of John, the likes of Yanga, Moses, and many other Equatorians in there, including a very senior Equatorian who was a deputy governor then of Terekeka, in the person of Clement Maring. We have Nuer, like Dixon Galwak, that is there, like my deputy Kawai Babot. So excluding SAP from Soma means SAP has committed an offense that is contravening the laws of Soma. And that does not mean SAP belongs to Dinka, so Dinka has been excluded. That is extreme, and it should not always be recalcitrant, simply because we have to be specific and be always mindful of our nation. We should not polarize the country by trying to advance the tribal sentiment. These are the points I was going to make. My brother Tieng Paul and my brother Emmanuel Ajawin, my coming is not an agitation. I was just coming to make a clarification, because I have been there as an insider, and SAP has had interest to work with all South Sudanese, just the way Thomas has interest to work with all South Sudanese. And currently, leadership of Thomas has so many other nationalities, including Dinka, and they are not being taken for that aspect. Do you hear Ian Matthew speaking every time? Is he from where? It's not from Equatoria. He's a guy from Nasir. Is Nasir Equatorian land? There are others, including the likes of Faiz, who comes from Bar al Ghazal,
Yes.
and many other commanders that I met in person. So that is the point I want to make. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sunday. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. And I appreciate your clarification. It's wonderful. For Malu. My last question. Okay. Adut Makura Torbe has a question here for you, Emmanuel. What is a guarantee? This SOMA will be one body. Since General Thomas and you, Ambassador Emmanuel, were members of SOA, and you divorced yourself, and now you created this party SOMA, and you start to divorce members of the example Malong and Pagan. Some thought maybe you are the problem?
Well, of course, the question in itself is just based on perception that are not really true, and once the question is based on wrong premises, the question itself is wrong. So I did. There's nothing called guarantee in politics. Politics is arena or political ideas. People meet when they have common ideas that they share together. People separate when there's no any common ground any longer that is binding them together. Why is Soma? What I know she's a government supporter. Is the SPLM government of Kenya united? Mainda SPLM IG, you have SPLM IO, you have the real SPLM, and you have so many. So what is it so unique about Soma? Soma is an alliance that is based on political objectives. The differences between us and real SPLM, for example, it is based on the political objectives and the charter. They not ascribe to the charter, and hence they not ascribe to the ideas, and they have the right not to be part of Soma. Anybody tomorrow who also feel that the ideas are no longer represented by Soma, they have the right to walk out. This is not a marriage that has been done in a Catholic church where you don't allow divorce. It is a political marriage of convenience. Everybody have a different reason why they're in Soma. So there's nothing unique. Politics, there's no guarantee in politics. The only thing about guarantee as a word is only when you're dealing with the scientific experiment under a microscope. So the question itself, to me, I don't see the relevancy to it. There's a lady who asked, is it Malik Torbe or something?
Malia Makur.
I didn't see the question disappeared, so I didn't.
Yeah, here it is. It says, Ambassador Ajawin, what will you tell those young men and women who might be interested in joining Soma?
Well, my sister Malia, this is a very good question. These are the questions we would like to hear. Substantive questions, not questions where we just want to make mockery of others. Yes, anybody who wants to join Soma, they are welcome. Soma, it is an organization, is an alliance that is open to all South Sudanese. We believe in our diversity. We believe that we, the people of South Sudan, can contribute effectively to transformation and bringing a whole change in our country. And the youth are the engine. Youth are the engine of any change or in any country. And their contribution to the struggle is very much appreciated. The advantage of that is, of course, the youth or those who want to join, they will become an effective part and parcel of the revolutionary change that we want in our country. And together, if we put our hands together, we are able to bring a new political dispensation in our country. And we believe the more we unite our ranks with our diversity, there will be a future for our country. As to the pro and cons, I don't know the negativity of joining Soma. The only negative aspect is only Juba that will feel the negative aspect of it, because we'll be taking people to Soma. But the advantages are there in terms of putting a new vision to our country, a vision of how to reconstruct a second republic in South Sudan, a vision of how to reconstruct the economy of our country that has collapsed. We want to create to the same thing, like use the oil to build our agricultural sector, so that we are able to build factories. Through these factories, we are able to bring our youth and give them employment. For example, South Sudan has a lot of cows, per head, over 30 million or 40 million cows. That's a lot. So we need to industrialize this wealth that we have by opening, for example, slaughterhouses in places like Rumbek, in places like Unity, among the communities that have cattle, so that they're able to export the meat to the African countries. We are able also to export the meat to the international market and to the Middle East. We are able also to open factories to make buttons, from the horns of our cows. We are also able to make factories, leather factories, so that we could, produce leather in our country. All these factories, if they are open, will empower our communities that have this wealth of resources, especially the cattle, and they'll be able to contribute to the socio-economic development of our country, and that will, in turn, will make South Sudan to progress economically, and this will create job opportunities for the youth that are now on the street without jobs, and Michael Mukwei labeling them that they're lazy. Where are their factories? If you also, let me just try to put this. This is in terms of the agricultural sector, but also we believe there's a need also to create what we call the small factories, like the fruit processing factories. You could do that in Yambio, or you could do that in Anzara and other places in agriculture, in Equatoria, where the land is fertile, and also there's a potential of agricultural potential. This also will create jobs to our youth. We need to open international airports in places like Malakal, in places like Rumbeg and so forth, and in Western Barghazal, so that they're able, our goods, our business people, our farmers are able to compete internationally and bring their goods and be able to transport them to the international market and the regional market and sub-region as well, so that South Sudan can become a beehive of economic activities. These all are the visions that we have in Soma. The government that you have in South Sudan now is a government of Ankolat. They are completely intellectually bankrupt. They have no any more ideas to offer. We thank them for the struggle that they have done and the many years they have spent in the bush. But these are not the right generation to lead to our country in 21st century. You need leaders who are capable. You need leaders who have intellectual ability and also policies that are sound, policies that are scientifically sound, policies that are able to really construct a republic where the hunger and poverty will be the thing of the past. So all these are the dreams and aspiration of Soma, and we believe in our leadership. We are able to do it if opportunity avail itself. And this cannot be done by the leaders themselves, but it could be done by all of us collectively and people of South Sudan coming together.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It's a very good answer to Malia Makur and the rest of the youth who have the same question in their mind. My last question, because we left with about 10 minutes to close the show, is is your party Soma planning to have a position in current government of national unity if you sign peace, or you will wait and organize yourself for upcoming election 2013?
I think I've answered that earlier. Someone asked similar question.
Yeah. All right. Then my question to you, direct, is me, Isaac. Is something that I have seen, and is few weeks ago, there was some protesters in US who went out and they burned a national flag. And I heard you talking about this as well, and I need to repeat asking you, what is your stand of banning a national flag?
Well, that's a good question, Brother Isaac. But the question is, why was the flag banned? We are dealing with the symptoms of the flag, of the anger. But why are the people angry in first place? So Sudan, people, they have been banned alive, in the course of the war since 2013, civilians. Is the flag more important than the people that got banned? Of course not. To me, I'm not trying to deal with a flag, but let us look at the reasons of why people are angry. My brother Isaac, when South Sudan became independent in 2011, people had hopes and expectations, high hopes and expectations, and they were truly justified to have that, because our country is endued with a lot of natural resources. People were hoping that the time of refugee and time of being in exile has come to an end, and we'll go back home and contribute in developing our country in a conducive democratic environment. But people were shocked and surprised that the political elites and the military elites in the SPLM, because of their own quarrels, they have burned the whole country. And South Sudan now is becoming a laughing stock where the economy is almost on the verge of collapse. No less than 500,000 have been killed. No less than 4 to 5 million people have been displaced. Almost half of the population, they have voted with their feet against the government and running away from their own brethren. So people are disappointed. Economically, all the resources and all the money, almost over 30-something billion dollars that the government of South Sudan receives since 2005, there's nothing to show for. There's not even a cleaning water running in Juba. There are not even taps. Juba, Jama, is a small city. Juba is not even a half of New York. The government in Juba cannot even provide clean running water to the people of South Sudan. As we speak, a country that produces oil, my brother Isaac, people get water by the Ethiopians who go and bring water with these tankers to provide to the people of South Sudan. Even water, we are not able to provide clean water. The water we have to bring foreigners to bring water to us. Look at the economical control of our country. It's been controlled by foreigners. So what do we fight for? We just fought a war so that we become consumers of the foreigners. I'm not against foreigners, but it is a sad reality that the people now controlling the economy in our country are not South Sudanese. It's the foreigners that are controlling. South Sudanese have no jobs, and the government doesn't care. So all this is creating bitterness, plus ethnic cleansing, tribalism, where you cannot get a job unless you belong to a certain tribe or you know someone, So people's hopes and aspiration, expectations have been betrayed by the political elites. That justifies their anger. The flag is supposed to be a symbol of nationalism, but people are questioning: do we really exist as a nation? Of course not. South Sudan is a state; it's not yet a nation. We are not yet able to summon the challenges of our diversity and ethnic makeup of South Sudan. So I cannot blame those who have banned the flag because they are manifesting their anger. In United States, you can ban the flag. If you are angry, it is a manifestation of your anger. And I say this in one of my shows, that when we were kids, and your father is angry your mother is angry with your father, the mother will just create something and start beating the father's favorite son. It's a message that he's sending to your dad. This is normal thing. So if the banning of a flag could send a message to the government in Juba and it will be painful for them, so let it be. So we should not ask the question of why the flag is banned, but we should ask the reason behind the banning of the flag, which is more pertinent and more important to me than the banning of the flag, which is just a piece of cloth.
Thank you so much. Why I'm asking you this question, because I got confused in two answering questions or two explanations that you gave out as a reason of banning the flag. And when you went beyond, there's another message you just said about the flag, that this is being plagiarized. It's not our flag is something being copied and they mix it up. I heard these things as well from your show.
Yeah, it is my opinion. It is my opinion that flag behind you there, if you look at it, is a Kenyan flag. Literally, if you have no triangle, nobody will know it's South Sudan flag. So I said the flag was not built from organically. We South Sudanese, we have artists. The people of South Sudan, after the independence, should have been given the opportunity to produce a flag that will reflect the aspiration of the people of South Sudan. The flag you have is an SPLM flag. That flag was raised in 1980s before South Sudan became independent. That flag was not meant. I was an SPLM member. That was my flag in the party. It was not meant for South Sudan as an independent republic. It was meant for a new Sudan, because even the meaning of the triangle that you have there is a sign of unity between North and South, where Dr. John said that it is the Nile that unite the southern part of the Sudan and the northern part, from Halfa to Numuli. That's triangle you have. So now we are not living in Sudan. So what's the relevancy of that triangle in that flag? It doesn't have any relevancy, because that was his meeting.
Yeah, I know.
That's my personal opinion. I don't want to convince anybody.
Ben, that diagram that Dr. John was designing, we can say this flag was meant for the new Sudan, for all of us, and there were some conditions. If the secession, let's say after signing of CPA, there was a conditions. If we make unity attractive, we can unite the Sudan and become a new Sudan, and we come with our Afaj Bitana, which is the flag, is our.
There was nothing like that. I was part of the SPLM team.
If we separate it, we go with ours.
No. There was nothing. Isaac, there was nothing like that. I was a member of the SPLM advanced team. Let me just correct you. I was a member of the SPLM advanced team. We were the one who drafted the Sudan interim constitution and South Sudan interim constitution at that time. There's nothing that says that if we vote for unity become attractive, that we're going to change the flag. There's nothing like that. And if there is, can you quote me?
Will not change the flag. What I meant is this. If we were voting for the unity, or let's say if we have changed the Sudan to be New Sudan, we could have changed the current Sudan flag to this flag.
You're right.
If we fail in the unity and we drop out, then we come back with our equipment. And
but that flag, but
we cannot sit down and design another flag.
Isaac, flag of any country represents the aspiration of that flag. There's nothing that, if it doesn't work in that country, we just import it and become the flag. No, it's not. That is not given. There's nothing like that. Because that flag should represent the aspiration of our people in our country. But in that case, they did not. So let us put the argument of the flag aside. I don't think this is the time to discuss it. We have had many discussions within it. Even somebody was accusing me that Emmanuel said, "Got the flag that Denka." I've never said that flag is a Dinka flag. I've never said such a thing. But people will always try, like the Torjon, when people were in Sudan, the Arab visited the Torjon, Gadakul Nas, Anyanya, they eat people. So when they capture an SPLA, everybody will come, to see this Anyanya because they believe Anyanya eat people. These are all misconceptions. People are trying, to defame us, and some of them are trying to defame me personally. I've never said such a thing that is a Dinka flag. I say it is an SPLM flag. But of course, the news are taken that Emmanuel is anti-Dinka. So anything Emmanuel say is always construed in different ways. But it's my personal opinion. You have a different opinion on the flag. I'm sure Madid has a different opinion. But at the end of the day, I believe that there's a need for a new flag that will represent the aspiration of the people also. It's my belief, of course. Everybody has belief. I don't need to crucify Medido. I need to crucify Isaac because you're saying that you need a new flag. People went crazy. That Emmanuel, many videos and hours were spent. Girl, I sponsored the group. I don't even know the groups that. I don't even know who went. I just saw it like you guys saw it, but they were saying that Emmanuel into Grush Ketir, he spent thousands of dollars for the flag. Man, if I had that money, I would use it for my own.
The reason why people are going crazy is because you are supporting this individual who burning the flag.
No, I did not support those individuals. Madid, see, this is the thing I was saying. People always misquote. I did not support these individuals. I don't know them personally. Okay. What I said people have democratic rights to exercise it. People should not say why flag is banned. They should ask for the reasons of what would make the people of South Sudan ban the flag. I don't even know them, to be honest with you. I don't know these guys, who have gone to there. They have not even asked me. I saw them like you guys saw them. So people are having misconception about Ajawin, and it's a very unfortunate, And I cannot change them. I cannot change their minds.
Okay. All right. Then there is a question here. Justin Bilani is asking Ambassador Emmanuel, is that flag belong South Sudan or New Sudan under John Garang?
That flag belongs to New Sudan under John Garang.
Okay. All right, then. No worries. Appreciate your acceptance of the invitation, and you come to Lagos State Media Show, and the question you have answered. I'm really happy. Charles Fu Italy is asking here, ask Emmanuel Ajawin why he called General Pagana Mom and Paul Malong as Judas.
First of all, I did not name Pagana as Judas or Malong. What I said is that, as I said you earlier, that Malong told us about one person whom he said that he was a spy, and the person was working with a Kolkor. And then also, Malong told us that he has suspended our learned brother, Sunday Dijon, accusing him of working with Juba and spreading lies. So the reference was here to Lual, who was accused of being a spy of Juba. So I did not call Molong, Judas, or Pagan. I did not mention them by name. So Charles Ifo, of course, is trying to stir some trouble, here and there, and I know where he comes from,
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I'm really happy, and we welcome you anytime you come back to Lake State Media. You can join us and our audience. We have already spent 2 hours here with you, and I appreciate the questions being written down by our audience. Abram, you came back. Just unmute yourself, and we have to give a floor to Ambassador to give his final remarks.
Yeah, thank you, Ambassador Emmanuel, for coming. And I think South Sudanese, they hear from you, which is a very good, because this is what we want. We want our leaders, let the people hear them. And this is a healthy discussion. And I hope you always feel free to come anytime back to Landscape Media, because we are here. Landscape Media here is a media that bring all of us together and let us have a reaction. This is how we do, because at the end of the day, we are also Sudanese, and what we want is a peace. And I hope that Soma, your group, and the government can find a solution that so your leaders, your group can go back to Juba, so that the peace can be implemented and the full peace our people need, because those people who are in peace can go back home, and there's any security, all of this stuff. So we are happy to have you this evening. It is my pleasure to have you in the show, and I thank you so much for coming in and Isaac. So I think we have asked Ambassador all the questions that we have. So thank you.
Thank you, Brother Isaac, for staying up late, almost is ungodly hours in Australia.
Yeah, I can tell you the truth. I haven't slept. I came from work and I just come and stay awake.
Yes. It's really very appreciated. And also, I thank my brother Medit, who has always been communicating with me, and we've been having a very good relationship between me and him. Although sometimes we have a different political perspective, that is normal in any political discourse. But respect between people is very important, because today he may be sitting there, but tomorrow also he may be in Soma. So we will need to continue having the dialogue among ourselves. I am honored to be here and to have been your guest in the Lex State Media, and we urge you to continue having this diversity of involving all our political forces to come and provide them a forum so that they could air their views. As to the audience, we also thank you for coming and faithfully listening to us tonight or morning or afternoon, whatever you may be. Regarding the peace process, I will assure you that Soma is determined to achieve a just and sustainable peace that is anchored on justice, a peace that is anchored on addressing of the root causes of the conflict in our country, and we will continue the struggle to its logical conclusion, to the satisfactory conclusion, which means creating a free federal democratic republic of South Sudan, a federalism that is not an ethnic federalism where some tribes will kick anybody out from their homes. No, we want federalism like the United States federal system, where each and every citizen have the right to go and move to any state they wish. Me, Emmanuel, I can go to Rumbek, and stay there. And I remember very well that I have one of my grandfathers. He was an old teacher. He was actually elected as one of the MPs in Rumbek, by the Agar, because he worked a lot in Rumbek, and the Agar trusted him to the extent where they voted for him to be their representative in the national parliament. These are the times in South Sudan where tribalism was not an issue. It was about competence. And this is the country we want to have again. This is how we want to build our country.
One of the guy who has been holding the position of the finance is called Paula Yulo. Also,
yes.
he's from Shulu. Yeah. And son of is now representing us in the National Assembly.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah. So you could see that the legs, of course, they're not discriminatory when it comes to the representation. That's why I said your show should also live up to the good character of the people of Legs as we know it, and how they have done it through the history of South Sudan. Plus also the Rumbek Secondary School, where the most of the elites came from. It was in Rumbek. So we hope that the media that you have will always continue being a platform for everybody, and let us avoid this tribalism, Jingism and Shulugism and Nuerism will not unite South Sudan. The only thing that will unite us is building a new country where we all as a generation could confidently move anywhere. You could come to Malakal without a problem. You visit me, you want a piece of land to sit. The same thing, I go to Rumbek or I go to Yurul. I will have friends there and I have no problem among my own brothers. I could live there if I want and choose to. This is the country we want to build. So we'll continue pursuing the road of peace with the hope of achieving a lasting peace that is far away from positions. We are not there for political positions. Positions, they come and go, but countries do remain. This is what we want to do. We want to leave a legacy. If you look at America today and the democracy the Americans are enjoying and the security they're enjoying, it is because their forefathers had a vision. It was not because about them. They thought about generations to come. And this is the mentality we want to change in South Sudan. Because you and I will die one day, and will not be more. We will just be dust and bones. But the generations to come, our grandchildren, we want them to have their own country where they'll be proud. We don't want them to go through the struggle you and I have gone through, the life of refugees and spending it in other foreign countries, rather than at this prime age of ours. We should have been back home, contributing to our economy and building our country the way we want, rather than working our youth and spending it in foreign countries, working for other people. So I assure the people of South Sudan that SOMA will continue advocating for a just peace, a peace that is based on justice and equality, a peace agreement that will bring a true peace to our country. Regarding the hiccups and this small storm in a teacup of so-called Malong or Nasmar, real SPLM, or SOMA, and SOMA is split. I tell you, these are just the flapping wings of a butterfly. These are just a flapping wings of a butterfly that will not change the storm, as I said, of the revolution change that SOMA wants. SOMA is very strong. SOMA is determined to bring the change, and anybody who wants to join SOMA, they are welcome. And anybody also who doesn't want to be part of SOMA, they're also welcome. We respect their democratic rights. But this small storm in a teacup should not be made big. Of course, it makes us lose the sight of the issues we have. Let bygone be bygones, and let us focus on SOMA. And we want the people of South Sudan to join us. SOMA, we are embarking on organizational structure of SOMA, where we'll have offices everywhere, and we'll want to see the youth coming and joining SOMA. And this thing that SOMA is anti-Denka, it is only the tribalists and the fascistic people who believe in the idea of tribalism try to scare others. SOMA is open to everybody. So everybody is welcome to SOMA, and together we can bring change either now or in the future. So in a nutshell, thank you very much, my dear brothers. And I am always here. Whenever you feel that you want me to come on your show, I will be humble, because I always say, we are your servants. We are not your masters. Politicians are the servant of the people. We need to be humble. Even Jesus Christ was the feet of his disciples. So as a leader, you must be very humble. You should not be having this arrogant attitude that you are above people. You cannot come and talk to them. Social media has become the political platform. Where are the rallies? Do you see any political rallies being held in Juba? No. So how do you talk to the people? You can only talk through Facebook, where you could talk to tens of thousands of the people. So we're here to talk about our country. We're here to talk about the ills and how to even come with solutions to resolve them. And let us respect one another and have a proper dialogue among ourselves. With that, thank you very much, and I wish you a good night or good evening.
Thank you so much, Molana Ambassador Emmanuel Ajawin. We really appreciate your presence in Lake State Media Show. We say thank you, and thank you all the audience, thousands of the people who are watching this show. today, tonight, this evening, wherever you are tuning in, we say thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
You are
you.
always welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Good night.
Thank you guys for watching, and please start for those of you who are we are our last line full. Find out go to State Media page and like. You can also subscribe us and
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Abraham. We appreciate the presence of our ambassador. We catch up again when we have breaking news or anything we need to talk about. You are all welcome to the State Media. I appreciate those who send in their questions and those who have been watching. Thank you. The show is over from here. Thank you. Have a good.
It's your boy Young Ajawin that time. Pancho leg stand Panchi America. Panji Dwala Banaban Pancho leg stand Panchi America. Panji Dwala Banaban walk on the lake Kankaro Watana watching. Oga leg leg gear power leg Panda with ya Panchi America. Panya Dwala Bano Chingatongo Pandon could you ever buy a check? Papu Panda Jiro what ya be Dwala venting. Stand Panchi America, Panji Dwala, Banaban Pancha leg stand Panchi America, Panji Dwala, Banaban walk on the lake Kankaro Watana watching, Oga leg gear power leg Panda with ya Panchi America, Panya Dwala Bano, Chingatongo Pandon Kujera.
Thank you so much. The show is ended here. Just share us and like us in the Facebook and in also in YouTube. Thank you. Have a good day. Good night.